As conservative students arrive on campus at the University of Texas, Austin, they faced more worry than the usual freshman frenzy. In June, a Twitter account run by a student group threatened to dox incoming students who join conservative student groups, posting, in part, if you join YCT or Turning Point USA, your name and more could end up on an article like one of these. So make sure to make smart choices. Campus Reform went to Texas for UT Austin's freshman orientation to get students' reaction to the threat.
Not cool with doxing. Seems like a low blow to just call somebody out for what their opinion is.
I mean, this is a great school. You should be able to express your views as a whole, whether you're conservative or super liberal.
I'm not conservative. I'm actually quite liberal, but I don't think that's cool.
I don't think people will actually dox you online. I don't think they will. I think it's a threat.
Threats are bad, though, right?
I mean, yeah, but I don't think they'll actually do it.
Well, you just saw Cabot Phillips in that video, and he is the media director for campusreform.org, and he joins us now. Good morning to you, Cabot.
Thanks for having me on.
That young lady said she didn't think they would actually do it, but you and I know good and well that it can happen, and it has happened a lot.
Yeah, and it's absolutely a growing trend, and it was encouraging to see most students come out and admit doxing is wrong, regardless of the purpose. And sadly, it is becoming more and more common. It's not just something that's on the fringes of the party. We've got Democratic members of Congress using doxing to intimidate supporters of President Trump, as we reported at Leadership Institute's Campus Forum. Other professors around the country coming out doxing students for their support of Border Patrol, ICE, other conservative causes like that. And I think that it's important that whenever this does arise, especially in an age of so little ideological diversity on campus, we need to make sure that universities are letting students know, if you have an opinion that's not popular, we're still going to protect it. We're not going to let people threaten you for your ideas. And I think that's how you shut this kind of mentality down before it becomes even more common. We need to come together as a country and as universities and make sure we shut this down. The University of Texas, to their part, has reached out to the Attorney General's office there in the state to make sure they're providing full legal support to any students that are being threatened with having their information released.
That's good news. Here is what the school had to say about it. Students should never be targeted or face harassment for their affiliations, political beliefs, or for any other reason. We also reached out to the Texas Attorney General's office to see if they could identify other legal options. They agreed that we are taking all available steps under the current circumstances. Do you know who's responsible for this?
Well, it was an affiliated group there in Austin. They're an anarchist group there. Not a direct affiliation with a campus group, but certainly something that many students are aware of. And the fact is, even if the students there in Austin or around the country aren't facing threats of doxing, once they do join a conservative campus club, they're still facing a litany of other problems, whether it's the university denying them the same funding that liberal groups get, whether it's the continual indoctrination coming from professors in class, whether it's free speech suppression when they're trying to go out and recruit for their groups. The fact is, if you're a conservative student, if you join a group on campus, it's still an uphill battle for you, whether your information is published or not. And so I think that we need to encourage universities to do the right thing, like it appears the University of Texas is doing here, and also hold groups accountable. Let them know you're not outside the law just because you're shutting down conservative ideas. And just because it may be socially acceptable for some, it doesn't mean that you're immune from the law.
Did any professor react to this?
Well, we did see a tweet from Professor Alex Wild there in the science department at Texas. He came out kind of saying, if you're a conservative student, maybe this is what you deserve. He went on to go on tweet. Actually, he said that if you're a supporter of President Trump, at this point, you're a Nazi still. There was an entire other series of tweets where he said the Republican Party and conservative students are in support of ethnic cleansing. And so that was another aspect of this story where the professor came out, seemed to support this, and I actually asked students about that as well, and they were split. Half of them saying, well, I agree with the professor, I think that's a good thing. The other half saying, I don't want my professors to sound like the comment section in a YouTube video. So that professor certainly had an opinion that I think most Americans can agree, not something you want to see from a taxpayer-funded employee.
All right. I wonder how the school will handle that. It is free speech, but at the same time, some of these universities have policies where they don't want the teachers to get political. Thank you so much, Cabot.
There's not freedom from consequences, even though there's freedom of speech. I think that's important to remember as well.
Thanks, Cabot.